Before getting into today's video, first of all, I just want to thank you all so much for being so close to 60,000 subscribers. I'm honestly breathless and I can't even put it into words how grateful I truly am. Also, let me know who your favorite Soul Eater character was. My favorite is Death or Dr. Frankenstein. My best friend who actually got me into the series, his favorite character is Blackstar. So again, let me know down in the comment section below who your favorite character is. Also, if you are new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on the bell notifications, that way you're notified when a new video pops up on some of your favorite content. And without further ado, cue the intro. This is kind of like the Moggy video, because Soul Eater is pretty old. I think it came out either 2009, 2010. Well, at least the anime did, and I didn't actually watch the series till late 2018, early 2019. Basically when I was first really getting into anime. However, when I watched the series and I reached the ending of it, I got nothing but disappointment and frustration. Not because the story in and of itself I thought was bad, but if not, I was really looking forward to the things they were about to do with some characters, especially within the main cast, that really felt like it got dropped. Now, I didn't read the manga. In fact, I probably should read the manga. But y'all could be the bearers of good news or bad news in the comment section below, whether or not the Soul Eater manga expanded upon the things I'm going to talk about. But overall, I enjoyed Soul Eater, and so let me get some of the positives out of the way before I get more into the criticisms that I just alluded to right now. When I was first getting more into anime and manga, Soul Eater really struck out to me as extremely different in style and taste in the way it sets up its characters, the way the characters look, but not only that, but just the overall tone and style of the world of Soul Eater is extremely unique, and that stands to this day. It was all really in the small details that captivated me with Soul Eater, with the sun and the moon, and overall just the entire way he set up the story felt extremely unorthodox compared to what I had been introduced to before and what I currently read now. For instance, learning Death actually wasn't the bad guy, or he was the bad guy pretending to be a good guy, but no, actually Death is one of the good guys, and if not the most powerful force the good guys had. That blew my mind at the time, and Soul Eater does this and takes advantage of this greatly. You have these characters with extremely great and outstanding personalities that also have this slightly weird edge to them that makes them even more so unique and kind of fun to watch. Death the Kid being the perfect example, being my favorite out of the bunch, but he seems to have this OCD complex where everything has to be perfectly symmetrical, if not, he's bloody useless. And well, since I brought him up, I might as well get the rest of the cast out of the way. I think Maka as a protagonist, I think she's alright. Her dynamic with Soul is cool. In fact, the whole idea of the people having their relationship with their friends who will turn into their weapons and whatnot, I thought that was all really cool. However, there were certain things to Maka that was missing, to where I look at a character like Blackstar. For me, Blackstar was a character who seemed a lot more appropriate for the protagonist role. Like, it's not that I couldn't get behind Maka, but Blackstar, you cannot tell me Blackstar isn't like the perfect shonen protagonist. I mean, look at him. That's one of my frustrations, though, with Soul Eater that I'll get into later, but I might as well start out there now. Blackstar's backstory was so cool, and I was really looking forward to that being explored a little more, and Blackstar's darker side being shown more and more as he kind of learns to control it. I loved everything about Blackstar, even though Death the Kid is my personal favorite. My best friend who introduced me to the series, Blackstar, was his favorite, and I perfectly understand why. And I think what made Blackstar even better was Tsubaki's presence. Her being around, she was a good character as well. And again, that entire dynamic with the person and their weapon was a beautiful one and a concept that I could really get behind, as it taught the themes of friendship, perseverance, and learning to cope with each other's weaknesses and strengths. And I think a character who again embodied that perfectly, or well, that it was most prominently shown, was with, well, Maka and Soul. I think Soul was a character who I was really looking forward to see a little more, especially with that whole weird sequence of the dark side of himself or something like that. You remember what I'm talking about, right? Like the piano and the little red demon? That was something that, remembering it now, I wished was, like, that was my thing with Soul Eater. There were so many things that I honestly wished was explored a little more, and it felt like the anime, when it was time to finally explore those things more, we're introduced to the final antagonist, it seems. They beat him, and then bam, that's the end of the series, but I'll get into that a little more later. The side characters within Soul Eater were also really cool as well, my favorite being Dr. Frankenstein. I think out of all of the characters, if I were to rank my top three, Death, Dr. Frankenstein, and Death the Kid are like my top 3. Black Star is very close to being in there as well. I'd probably tie him with Death the Kid, honestly, now that I think about it years later. But you cannot tell me Dr. Frankenstein isn't an absolute GOAT. Also, Soul Eater had some pretty solid antagonists, Medusa being a good one. Then you had Krona, and Krona was one where I was like, his sword is cool, right? Ragnarok, if I remember the name of it correctly. I thought the sword was super cool, and the dynamic between Krona and his weapon being completely different from all of the other characters, but I really wanted to see, with all the traumatic events that Krona went through, that he would just grow a pair and punch Medusa across the face. That's just my personal preference, although I understand him being in this traumatized, horrible state where he's being manipulated by this sick and twisted mother-like figure, which shows the importance of a good, stable home environment in a child's life, by the way. But I'd say Medusa, and then you had the arachnid girl who was kind of like trying to calm Ashura, and Ashura was a really cool character as well. I really loved his dynamic with Death, and that final fight was insane, or at least the fight between Death and Ashura. I know that wasn't the final fight, even though it definitely deserved to be, because Death, when he went serious, best character in the series. I don't want to hear no and, ifs, or buts about it. You also had some other characters who were fun, like Blair, the one cat who could turn into a girl, but that was for completely different reasons. But now looking back on Demon Slayer a few years later and thinking about it, I really do remember it as just a fun experience that I truly do enjoy. However, a lot of the themes that is presented within Soul Eater never really stuck with me, because there have been many other animes and mangas that cover similar themes to Soul Eater, but they managed to make them a lot more impactful to me than Soul Eater managed to in the first place. It felt like a lot of the themes with the main cast were kind of pushed to the side in order to progress the story and deal with the threat that was ahead of them. Therefore, instead of handling them at the same time, it was as if, yeah, you deal with your own character development and struggle in this episode, and then the next episode, when we're all back together again, it's basically as if that moment never existed, or you don't really come off as a different character than you did 2 episodes ago. And that's essentially my biggest issue with Soul Eater. There were a lot of themes that I really wish were expanded upon a little more, and Soul Eater was one of those things that when I watched it, I thought this could be a long-running series. Now, I understand that cutting your series short, therefore you don't run it for too long to the point where you end up having an arc that kind of ruins all of the themes that your story has been building up forever, but it was one of those things where it felt like when it was done, I legit, the thing I told myself was, is that it? There's no more? Are you like, I thought that would be like the first arc or the first major saga, and then there would be more sagas as we get to see these kids grow up and move on from whatever past they had, but no, that was it. And I don't know, maybe that's just me being greedy as a Soul Eater fan, but it truly felt like I was left hanging. I know the author of Soul Eater is the one currently working on Fire Force, and I'll probably check out Fire Force. I checked it out when it first came out, but I dropped it, if I'm being honest. But like I said at the beginning of the video, this is more like the Magi video, just kind of talking about Soul Eater and kind of bringing it back up into conversation. The Magi video did really well, so who knows, this video might also. But hopefully you can relate to some of the stuff that I brought up, and hopefully I got to bring up some good memories about Soul Eater as well. If you're new to the channel, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the bell notifications. That way you're notified when a new video pops up on your favorite anime, manga, or whatever content. As always, this has been The Masked Man. Hope everyone has a blessed rest of the day, and peace.